Here are the top stories for today, April 20, 2022. The Commission on Elections junks the last disqualification case filed against presidential bet Bongbong Marcos. PNP Chief General Genardo Carlos assures the full readiness of the police force for the May 9 elections. The PNP clarifies the shooting incident in Bukidnon involving presidential aspirant Callior Guzman and the Manobo tribe is not election-related. And the Department of Health announces a new round of vaccination days this April and May at the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The last pending disqualification case against the presidential bid of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has been dismissed. This after members of the Commission on Elections or Comelec's First Division unanimously voted to dismiss the petition filed by Ilocano nga Pugno. The plea, which was filed in December last year, cited the failure of Marcos to file his income tax returns. However, members of the First Division, which include Commissioners Socorro Inting, Amy Ferolino, and Amy Torrefranca Neri, junked the petition for a lack of merit. As such, all cases blocking the presidential bid of Marcos are already wiped out. In a statement, Marcos' Chief of Staff and spokesperson Attorney Vic Rodriguez said that with the dismissal of the case, it is now time for every peace-loving Filipino to work for a clean, honest, credible, and fair elections and allow people to speak, their voices heard, and votes genuinely counted. PNP Chief General Genardo Carlos assures the full readiness of the Philippine National Police for the forthcoming May 9 elections. Carlos said the entire police force is on alert even after the elections or when the final election results are out. He also announced that the PNP has already taken the necessary steps to address peace and order concerns in 114 cities and municipalities they earlier identified as election areas of concern.
Yung amin pong sinabmit o nirekomenda sa Comelec ay 114 cities and municipalities na posible pong itong maging election areas of concern.
PNP Chief General Genardo Carlos clarifies that the shooting incident yesterday involving presidential aspirant Callior Guzman and members of the Manobo tribe in Bukidnon cannot be considered yet as an election-related violence. De Guzman was not hurt in the incident, but some tribal members were hurt when they were allegedly fired upon by security guards of a plantation in the town of Quezon. The Manobo people were allegedly trying to occupy a portion of land they are claiming as part of their ancestral domain.
Sa initial na investigasyon ay yung gwardya po yung nagpaputok dahil may group of people, mga petitioners po ito na gustong pumasok sa isang lugar at hindi ho niya napigilan, nag-warning shot. Unfortunately, may tinamaan. Ngayon, may connection ba ito doon sa presence ng isang presidential aspirant? Wala po ho tayong connection na nakikita during the It's just so happened that he was there. Was he the target? No. Is this a election-related incident? Wala pa ho kaming indicator or indication that would say that this is connected with the election. Kasi ho yung mga nagpunta doon ay they are concerned with a property and under contest. Yun po yung binigay po sa aking ulat. But we assure them that this is going to be a continuing investigation kasi mayroon nga pong insidente nangyari. But ang tinitingnan po natin for the meantime ay isolated ho yun, wala ho doon sa connection sa presence ng isang presidential candidate.
Tubaran and Malabang towns in Lanao del Sur have been placed under Comelec control following a spate of election-related killings. Comelec Chairman Saidamin Pangarungan said both municipalities had a history of election-related violence and swift measures have to be in place to prevent further outbreaks of violence in the areas. Meanwhile, election watchdogs and security forces are also in place in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to ensure safe and peaceful elections.
May mga task forces ho na kinreate yung Philippine National dito sa regional office nila. Ito ho yung mga areas kung merong mainit na competition doon natin. So yun ho yung mga areas na titan nila. We are in touch doon election monitors para ho magkaroon tayo ng malawak na ma-report kaagad yung mga incidents para ho hindi ito lumala.
Calling out and restricting Facebook accounts of government officials while turning a blind eye to others is alarming, if not dangerous. This is according to Interior Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya, as Facebook issued warning to the post of National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon Jr., urging Filipinos to unite to end insurgency. Malaya, who is also NTF-ELCAC spokesperson, said social media giant and its third-party fact-checkers, Rappler and Vera Files, are overly focusing on calling out and restricting accounts of government officials while turning a blind eye to others. Esperon's Facebook post on April 14 urges Filipinos to unite against armed struggle and against organizations that support the New People's Army, including members of the Communist Party of the Philippines who have infiltrated the Congress through the party list system. Malaya urges Facebook to revisit and modify its standards, saying these serve to promote the interests of the few and powerful. He also called on the social media giant to stick to its goal of helping people connect and engage, and to leave national security matters to the experts. Military troops will remain vigilant against groups that might threaten the public from casting their votes. AFP Chief of Staff General Andres Centino said the military will further intensify its operations against communist and local terrorist groups to ensure orderly and peaceful polls on May 9. Centino said the AFP, along with the Philippine National Police and the Philippine Coast Guard, are doing their best to guard the elections so that people can exercise their right to vote without fear and intimidation. The Commission on Elections started the deployment of official ballots last night. In an advisory, the poll body said over 60 million ballots have been distributed to the city and municipal treasurers' offices nationwide. Other election supplies are also delivered along with the ballots. Still ahead, a House leader seeks stronger prosecution against smuggling of agricultural products. And the Department of Health sets another round of vaccination days in April and May. We're back after a quick break. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Hi everyone, James Deacon here. The COVID-19 vaccines are finally here, and the government wants to make sure the vaccines reach us. So let's do our part by making sure that we get registered to be included in the vaccination list of our LGU. You can register right in the comfort and safety of your own homes through your LGU's online registration platform. And you can also register on-site in the vaccination venues or through your barangay. Remember, getting vaccinated is the first step towards ending this pandemic. So let's do our part as disciplined citizens. Bida ang may disiplina. Magpakarehistro at magpabakuna para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
Albay Representative Joey Salceda is pushing for the immediate prosecution of smugglers of agricultural products. During a House hearing, Salceda urged the Department of Justice to file cases of large-scale agricultural smuggling against the involved individuals or groups. The law designates large-scale agricultural smuggling as economic sabotage. Salceda, who is also the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, said smugglers of agricultural products, large-scale agricultural smuggling is the single gravest sin to Philippine society. He wants the National Bureau of Investigation to take the lead in pursuing cases against these smugglers and for the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group under the Philippine National Police to monitor, investigate, and prosecute crimes involving economic sabotage. 6 COVID-19 vaccines have been approved as second booster shots by the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. National Vaccination Operations Center Chair Mirna Cabotaje said the FDA has issued an emergency use authorization for the 6 brands. The center is still waiting for the review and final recommendations of the Health and Technology Assessment Council. The administration of second booster shot, which was originally slated April 20, is expected to start next week. Healthcare workers, senior citizens, and immunocompromised will be prioritized. Cabotaje said the second booster shot may be given 4 months after the first booster dose. She said they plan to prioritize Metro Manila and Regions 3 and 4A before expanding coverage. The Department of Health, or DOH, has set another round of special vaccination days in areas with low COVID-19 inoculation coverage in April and in May. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergara said there would be social mobilization activities about COVID-19 vaccination in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The BARM has the least number of the vaccinated population against COVID-19, with only 27% fully vaccinated out of the 3 million goal as of last count. Vergara also clarified that vaccination is not prohibited during the Ramadan season, according to the Office of the Bangsamoro Mufti. The Ministry of the Interior and Local Government Chief Nagib Sinarimbo, meanwhile, said BARM targets to increase fully vaccinated residents up to 1.4 million individuals in its 5 provinces. As of April 18, more than 67 million individuals, or 74.28% of the country's target population, are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Around 12.7 million have received their booster shots. The Philippines is now considered low risk under the new system for travel risk assessment set by the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or US CDC. As of April 18, the US CDC data showed that in Southeast Asia, only the Philippines and Myanmar are under Alert Level 1 COVID-19 low based on declining COVID-19 cases. A destination must have 49 or fewer cases per 100,000 residents over the past 28 days to be placed under this alert level. COVID-19 cases in the Philippines are on the decline, with a daily average of only 224 from April 12 to 18, or 17% lower than the preceding week's 271. The Philippines has vaccinated more than 70% of its target population against COVID-19. The Cordillera region is moving closer to herd immunity against COVID-19 as nearly 80% of the population has been vaccinated. More on this and other news from the provinces from Marita Moahe.
The Department of Health in the Cordillera Administrative Region said that the region is close to vaccinating 80% of its target population before achieving herd immunity against COVID-19. The Regional Vaccination Operations Center shows 77.2% of the total target eligible population in the region have received 2 doses of different brands of the COVID-19 vaccine. The region's vaccination program has a target population of 1.14 million individuals. Baguio City has the highest vaccination accomplishment, exceeding its target population of 305,448 with a 106.68% vaccination rate. In Negros Occidental, the provincial government has lauded Negrenses for their cooperation in observing minimum public health standards, as the entire province logged only 8 active COVID-19 cases on Monday. Provincial Administrator Rayfrando Diaz II said on Tuesday the province is now registering single-digit cases, thanks to the people and the 31 local government units. The Provincial Incident Management Team said the number of active COVID-19 cases in Negros Occidental has steadily decreased since the start of April, from 40 cases on April 1 to only 8 on April 18. 6 local government units have been placed under Alert Level 1 until April 30 by the Interagency Task Force, while the remaining 25 towns and component cities are still under Alert Level 2. Meanwhile, Legazpi City reports that no new COVID-19 cases were recorded in this city since April 14. Mayor Noel Rosal on Tuesday attributed this development to the massive vaccination efforts that have resulted in increasing population protection against the virus. The mayor, however, reminded his constituents not to be complacent as COVID-19 is still present. Data from the Department of Health in Bicol showed as of April 16, Legazpi City has recorded 11 active infections, 3,755 recoveries, and 104 deaths due to COVID-19. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Marita Muaje.
In our business news, the country's pharmaceutical industry is expected to grow up to 216 billion pesos by 2024 as more people spend on medicines, especially for COVID-19 and dengue prevention. Trade Undersecretary and Board of Investments Managing Head Seferino Rodolfo said that health expenditure is on the rise, with consumer health spending growth averaging 11% in the last 3 years. Multinational companies currently share over half of pharmaceutical sales in the country at 56.5%. Rodolfo added the country is making significant developments in herbal medicine. With the availability of nature-based active ingredients such as lagundi and sambong, the industry is now developing herbal drugs for COVID-19 and dengue. Rodolfo said the BOI vows to support the roadmap to the Philippine Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association to strengthen the local sector and increase the country's pharmaceutical exports. The BOI is also actively promoting the Philippines as a manufacturing hub for pharmaceutical companies to produce COVID-19 vaccines and medicines here. More stories from the newsroom. Malacanang says congressional action is needed to rename the Ninoy Aquino International Airport back to Manila International Airport. And the Philippine Army says the CPP NPA in Negros Island is incapable of disrupting the May 9 elections. Details ahead. Stay with the PNA Newsroom. Malacanang says the proposal to rename Ninoy Aquino International Airport back to its original name, Manila International Airport, requires congressional action. The palace reacted after Duterte Youth Representative Duciel Cardema filed House Bill 10822, claiming it to make it easier for travelers to locate the country's international gateway and give Filipinos a sense of pride. Communications Secretary and Acting Presidential Spokesperson Martin Andanar said congressional action is needed to repeal Republic Act No. 6639, which renamed MIA to NAIA. Andanar acknowledged that the Supreme Court in 2020 junked a petition seeking to nullify RA 6639. In the bill she filed on April 11, Cardema said naming the country's airport as NAIA is a self-serving and highly politicized act. She noted that the airport was named NAIA in 1987 during the time of then-President Corazon Aquino, the wife of assassinated Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino. In the previous petition junked in 2020, lawyer Larry Gadon questioned the validity of RA 6639, saying the process in naming the airport after Aquino was not followed. The Philippine Army assured that the communist movement in Negros Island is not strong enough to disrupt this year's elections. Major General Benedict Arevalo, Army Commander for Western and Central Visayas, said the CPP-NPA's capability in Negros Island has diminished over the years. He noted that compared to 3 years ago, there is a big improvement in their counterinsurgency operations, and the organization is weakened as a result. However, he emphasized the need to sustain operations against the insurgents to ensure that they can no longer recover the forces that they had in the past years. Army officials previously said they were being vigilant against possible attacks by the NPA this election season. Arevalo, meanwhile, commended the soldiers involved in the April 14 encounter with the suspected NPA rebels in Barangay Enrique Villanueva in Sibulan, Negros Oriental. The 11th Infantry Battalion soldiers clashed with 12 suspected NPA remnants and recovered a cache of firearms, ammunition, explosives, and suspected submersive documents. Malacanang is elated over restored confidence of Filipinos in tourism. This as domestic travel spiked the Holy Week of April 14 to 17. Acting Presidential Spokesperson and Communications Secretary Martin Andanar noted that travel plays a significant role in reviving the economy. He said the confidence level of people is being restored after previous lockdowns. Andanar expressed confidence that tourism-dependent cities and provinces will surely be able to bounce back in a matter of time. He, however, reminded the public to ensure the observance of minimum public health standards. Meanwhile, following reports that Boracay has breached its carrying capacity for tourists, Andanar assured that the Department of Tourism has apprised both the Department of the Interior and Local Government and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, is strengthening its team up with the private sector in Misamis Oriental to improve its skills development programs for job applicants. More on this from Vincent Bautista.
The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority Regional Training Center Tagaloan held its enterprise-based training to the MAX Program Conference, attended by Deputy Director General for Partnership and Linkages, Anisieto John Bertiz III, last April 13 to bolster public-private skills development partnership in the province. Through TESDA's EBT program, the TESDA shall partner with private companies in Misamis Oriental to provide technical assistance among applicants based on set guidelines and implement competency assessment and skill certification of industry-based professionals, wherein applicants will undergo 4 to 6 months of training inside private companies, which will then be absorbed in their workforce depending on their performance. As part of its mandate to capacitate individuals through the creation of skills development mechanisms, TESDA Misamis Oriental is now focusing on bolstering a whole-nation approach as one of its keystone initiatives.
TESDA has strengthened the agency's role in nation building, and in particular the workforce development needs of our country through an intensified tripartite approach. The government, of course, that's TESDA, and other concerned agencies. The industry as our key employment generators and our labor market, basically. And of course, the academy, which helps us develop the training regulations because after all, we are a competency-based authority.
For their part, RTC Tagaloan Administrator Mario Labisig disclosed that they are eager to engage with their industry partners for future training and ensure a sustainable mutual gain for the government and the private sector towards the development of the province. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Vincent Bautista, Philippine Information Agency, Northern Mindanao.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. The Commission on Elections junks the last disqualification case filed against presidential bet Bongbong Marcos. PNP Chief General Genardo Carlos assures the full readiness of the police force for the May 9 elections. The PNP clarifies the shooting incident in Bukidnon involving presidential aspirant Callior Guzman and the Manobo tribe is not election-related. And the Department of Health announces a new round of vaccination days this April and May at the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, everyone.